Hey everybody, happy Monday! It's Facebook Live with the Creativity Cave. I hope you guys are super excited to be stamping with me. Today I've got my Easter peeps on. I gotta adjust them. I do believe either I have a large head or these were meant for children. It's probably a little of each. I'm not sure though. Anyway, I gotta get my Stampin' Lips on. So welcome all of you lovely, lovely faces. I hope you are ready for a great day of stamping. I see Trisha and Mary Ann and Kathy and Pamela. Oh my goodness, Kathy from Cloquet, Minnesota. That's way north. And look at Barbara and Ruth and Melanie. I'm just naming names because it's fun. And Amy and Nina and Trish and Roberta and Vicky. Hello, and Barb and Deb and Jerry and Brenda and Kimberly and Debbie and Carmen. Sorry, I won't sing the names because that's just wrong. So hello, Sharon, did you know I'm from Iowa? I'm in the Quad Cities. I remind you of the romper room lady. So I've heard the term romper room, but I'm not 100% sure like what that actually is. So I'll have to take a look. But it is so wonderful to see everybody. I hope you had a lovely weekend and you got to enjoy some sun. My son was outside tanning. It was 60 degrees and he was tanning. Can't make it up. I keep telling him he looked dark. Sometimes mothers say things. Just saying. And if he's on here, you're so tan, Carl. Wow, way to go. Work it. He's going to pop in and he's going to nail me. I just know it. Anyway, it is so awesome to have all you guys here today. I keep looking for my dot so I know where to look. I know the romper room. Like, I know that name. I just can't picture in my head what it actually was. So, you're glad to hear someone's voice besides yours. I love that. Oh, pre-Sesame Street. Okay, well, I am a child of the Sesame Street. Yours. I was the 70s and early 80s were my Sesame Street years. So I think that was towards the beginning of the whole thing. The Sesame Street must be a 70s thing, right? Like, for sure. I have to say hi to Whitney and Ella. I know they're hiding behind my ginormous, apparently, head. Oh, did the romper room person say names? You know, if, like, okay, I totally get that because, like, the, growing up, like, all I ever wanted was, like, a keychain or a license plate that had my name on it. And they never, ever had that. And if they did, it was always spelled wrong. Like that is what I wanted in life. I mean, does a child really ask for so much? I didn't ever ask for an iPad when I was a kid, but I did want, oh, look at you guys. Check out his t-shirt. Come in. It says Save Ferris. Isn't that awesome? Did you give him that? Or did Carl? Yeah, that was his. I love that. Save Ferris. Anyway. So yeah, I never had anything personalized in my name. Maybe that's why I like stamping so much, because then I can have a, you know, anything can be personalized. Shelly says, Save Ferris. Okay, this is funny. And a couple of you out there know this story or know this place because you've been with me, just a very few of you, but in my town, there is like the main drag to get to like all the stores and shopping and stuff. And then there's a back way. And every time we take the back way, there's this bump. And it's at an intersection. So if the light is red, of course we can't go over the bump, but it's a good bump. Like it's a whee! bump. And my daughter's probably laughing.
I went over that bump today.
You did? Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't left the house in a few days. So on the bump, I always love when we can go over it fast because you sort of get that little wee and that's it, you know. And I probably go over it faster than is recommended, but I don't care. It's the little things in life that I have. And so where was I going with this? Oh, so my husband was driving and we went really fast over it once and it was like a whoosh. And I said I was having the movie Ferris Bueller when the guys at the parking garage take the car out for a joyride and they go like launched, like they're coming over a hill and you can just see the car like in the air flying down and then it lands, and that was really funny. So I always think of that. Anyway, Shelly, you love that bump. Like you've been with me in the bump, I'm sure of it. Who else was? Jenna probably knows the bump. I know my friend Kelly McCauley knows the bump. It just cracks me up, the silly things. I don't know. It's the little things, right? So, okay, I do actually need to take this off because I feel like it's squeezing my brain like out. Sorry. Yeah, my head's still pretty big. You guys are fine. So I have to say hello to Rachel. I just saw you on here. My sweet Rachel is on my team and she got tested for COVID this like yesterday, I think, Rachel. And oh my gosh, girl, I'm sending you all the prayers and vibes and hugs and all the good stuff your way. I hope you don't have it. So she is sequestered in her room at home and her husband and family can't be there. I wonder if that's a good thing for a moment or a bad thing. A good thing in that maybe you could have some peace and quiet because I could go for a little, I'll be honest with you. But a bad thing because obviously we don't want you to have this. But I hope it's for real and that you're fine and it's just like allergies or whatever. But you know I love you. And so I was texting her back and forth yesterday, and so her last name is Doin, like how you doing, like from Joey, like from Friends, and you all know I love Friends. So I texted her the how you doing gif from Joey, but I have to tell you there were like a lot of them to choose from because he of course says it a whole bunch of times. Anyway, gosh, I think I might be losing my voice. I haven't practiced that talking that much lately. Okay, so I did accomplish something huge this weekend. I finished watching Breaking Bad. I've been watching it with my husband and I felt relieved because really watching that show made me nervous because, you know, they're always going to get into trouble. They're doing naughty things. And so I was always nervous about what was going to happen to them. But now we're watching Better Call Saul, which I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's like a prequel to Breaking Bad, I think, with the lawyer who's in the show. And so far, I'm not getting it, but there's just a couple funny moments that have kept me going. But my husband, the whole Breaking Bad thing started because my husband's been watching Better Call Saul, and he wants to watch, you know, he's not caught up on it yet. So he wants to watch it with me. And because we've been in quarantine and because this seems to be going on forever, we've got plenty of time to be watching this. But I like it because I sit and knit. And that brings me to what's going on behind me. So my daughter back here is, bless her ever-loving heart. She's been at this since about, I don't know, like a long time. Anyway, I was winding a ball of yarn from a skein. You put it on a thing, it's called a swift, and then you twirl it up into a ball. Anyway, she was doing that for me, and I had a little, let's just say, yarn situation arise. The yarn is like a mess, and it's here. Yeah, and this is much smaller. It was really, really, really bad. And she's been doing this for a couple of hours, which is, yeah. And I think, well, anyway, so bless her heart for helping me. I'm not sure why she's still doing it, but I love that.
I have a lot of homework I'm doing right now.
So my kids are starting the reality of that they're going to have to go to online school. I haven't really had to do anything yet. Actually, they completely haven't had to do anything yet, but it's coming. I don't think they're happy about it. So I think that's kind of, I don't want to say funny. That's not quite the right terminology, but it's about time they had some like legitimate stuff that they need to do. So anyway, well, I have some great projects. I didn't finish cutting the cardstock for the last one, so I'm sort of trying to do that while I talk to you, and it's not going very well, I'm not gonna lie. And also, I don't know why my voice is all of a sudden going. I mean, that's different, but whatever. So, oh my gosh, you have a Miata going over live. Hi, Cindy. Yes, this is live. It surely is. You can see, like up here, I can see a little thing that says live, and then the stuff is clicking off time-wise. So yeah, there you go. You are on here, so feel free to comment. And if I can catch your comment, I will definitely answer you. So welcome. All right, so I've got a few announcements. I've got some awesome projects to share with you, a couple of guest requests, and some new classes. So, oh shoot, and I didn't put them in before I went live. Dang it, I knew there was something I needed to do. Oh well. I need to dim the light. Well, okay, so if I see if I'm really close, which do we really need to be this close? Then it's normal. And then if I go way back here, it looks pretty normal, but then I'm kind of far away. Plus, I'm not blocking those two behind me. The struggle is real.
I did get ready today.
See, there's a very narrow window of not glowing to manage. I'm not sure why. But you would be surprised. You need a lot of light for your projects to show up well. So I want that definitely to happen. Cindy, I am in the Quad Cities of Iowa. So welcome. Where are you from? Let's see. So today I've got projects featuring, let's see, I've got the Mountain Air bundle. Oh, Cindy, I'm from Minnesota. I know Minnesota well, don't you? I have one featuring the High Tide stamp set and the new Ornate suite and a couple other things and some printed paper. I'm very excited. So yeah. All right, guys, it is so awesome that you're here, no matter where you're from. We are glad to have you. Okay, so I'm gonna flip my glowing face around. I just have to move something because, like I said, I was still kind of cutting cardstock right before I went live. I'm not quite done with my last project, but I've got a fun fold. That was one of our requests. So if you didn't know, each week I post on my Creativity Cave Facebook class. I post the link to our live that you're on right now. And if you share that on Facebook, that is so awesome. It really helps me. So that's my Stampin' Up business page. It's called The Creativity Cave. So check that out. And if you share my video on that page, I will put you in a drawing for free prizes. I haven't been doing that for a while, so I'm going to come back to it. So we'll talk about that at the end of my live. And then we will have prizes next week. So yay. Okay. So all right, and sharing my video really helps. Liking and commenting on my video really helps. So if you do share it, feel free to comment shared in the video right now. If you share it on Facebook, though, feel free to comment shared there after you've shared it. And if you like something, let me know. If you want to see something, let me know. I love hearing what your requests are. So that is awesome. All right, so I'm gonna flip my camera. Is there a printout over there of my Ornate Garden suite? It's actually 3 pages. No, that's not it. No. Here, hold on. I'm gonna look really quick. Be right back. Actually, I'm gonna flip you around so you have something to look at.
Oh, yeah, got it.
You found it? Okay, yay. They found it. Best assistants in the world. All right. Okay, so now, for real, I'm going to flip the camera. Okay, so close your eyes for 1 second. Okay. Oops, I have to adjust a little. I'm laughing because, there we go. Okay, so our customer special this month in April is the Ornate Garden Suite. It is a suite that will be in our upcoming catalog, and it's going to go from April 1st to May 31st. It is amazing. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's part of this, and it has been hugely popular. So if you are interested in this, I would say do not wait. Make sure you order it right away. There's already a couple things on back order, but there's also new stuff coming into the warehouse. Of course, one of the problems we have is with our little pandemic situation. We are a little bit slower on shipping, both shipping orders out from Stampin' Up as well as products coming into our warehouse from our various factories and manufacturing sites. But it's coming. Now, the really cool thing is if you order the suite from me, you will get a whole bunch of stuff. You'll get a free online class with a pre-cut cardstock packet, which is a $40 value. Plus, you'll get an additional PDF with, I want to say there's 20 projects in that PDF. There's a photo with instructions and measurements and all of that good stuff. And then if you already have it, or I know many of you watching are demonstrators or hobby shoppers. I'm trying to say discount shoppers. You can order that through my online class, and I'll put links in the description of this video for you. All of this is going to be live next week. The class is, but you can order everything right now. It's amazing. So we're going to make a project with this, but let me show you some of the stuff that comes with it. So there's 2 stamp sets. There is the Ornate Thanks. And I love these sets because you can mix and match words, which is really fun. There's also the Ornate Style stamp set, and then both have amazing sets of dies, and we're going to use these today. And then here are the dies that go with the other one. And what's really great about the class is it's going to show you how to use all this stuff. And then also we have some gorgeous printed paper. We're going to feature some of that today. There's ribbon, and there are also gilded gems. They're kind of like rhinestones dipped in gold. That's what I would say. So they're really cool. Anyway, all of this will be in our next catalog, but right now you can get the class for free from me, which is super awesome. And that is, by the way, just this month that you can get the free class from me, because I need to cut off the cardstock packets, you know what I mean? Because otherwise I would be cutting cardstock till the cows come home, and believe me, around here that takes a while. All right, so let's make our first card with this suite, because it really is pretty. So I've cut some of the printed paper, and what I love about this paper is it's a pretty pattern on one side, and then the other side has a gold foiling design on, I don't know if it's every sheet, but most of the sheets are like that, and they're really pretty. So I took and die cut 2 of the dies from die sets. I've got this. This is one of the smaller frames, and look at how pretty it is. And by the way, all the little pieces fell right out from here. If you're struggling with that, here's a couple tips that I would recommend. Put a piece of wax paper between the die and the cardstock when you're cutting. That will help all the pieces release from the die easier. Also add a shim. You can do typing paper or a piece of cardstock to your sandwich, and that will really help out. And so those are a couple ways to get the dies to cut easier, but honestly, mine have been cutting really well, so I really like that. Keep in mind though, every single Big Shot out there is a little bit different. I have several Big Shots here for my business, and each one cuts a little bit differently, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so we've got the two stamp sets, the Ornate style, and then that comes with the frame dies. Look, there's a whole bunch of pieces. It's pretty cool. And then the other set is, where did I put it? Oh, hold on, it's just behind me. The other set is this one, and I really like this one. It's just so pretty. Okay, so, and look at these borders. So these are like edgelets on here, and then like this is a cool edge. How cute is that? And then that's really cute. And yes, I do cut my die cutting side up, and that works really good. Any word on a new die cutting system from Stampin' Up? Nope. Believe me, if there was information on that, I would tell you. But I can tell you this. I know for sure that my stamp set is coming out next January. I'm excited. Okay. So I'm going to use a couple of these stamps for my card. Okay, and I want the stick right here. Okay, so to put this card together, I'm going to start with my thank you, and I love the colors. And the reason I really love the colors is because they're kind of not my typical colors, which I love. I kind of get in a color rut, so I really like this. Now, there was a question. What causes the little pieces of paper on an intricate die cut? Kelly, can you I think maybe you're missing something. What causes the little pieces of paper? I don't know what you mean by that. So, yeah. All right. You can't decide if you like this or not. Oh my gosh, I love it. I think, Katie, one of the things that happens is some people might use, let's just say, more intricate pieces together than is maybe best. I know sometimes it's easy to be an over embellisher, and so that can be part of the reason why that happens. And so I would encourage you to maybe, well, I don't know. You know I'm going to give you an amazing class, so I'll just leave that there. Okay, so by the way, the color combination I'm using, I've got terracotta tile, soft suede, and then my cardstock base is pear pizzazz. These are three colors I never would have put together if it weren't for this paper. So that's one of the things I love about printed paper. So yeah. It's hard to explain, but there are little fuzzy pieces of paper. Are you talking about on the edge of your die cut, Kelly? Is that what you mean? Little pieces on the edge? The only thing, maybe if, Kelly, if you message me a picture of what you're talking about, I might be able to help you better. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my thank you in my terracotta tile. Any hints about my stamp set? I don't believe I'm allowed to give you any hints, but I will say that I do believe it encompasses me well. So just think of what you think of when you think of me. Actually, that could be really dangerous. I don't know. But I think it's a very good representation of me. So, yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Especially because I don't want to dig a hole. Okay, so I've got thank you. And this, I love this die cut, is fits perfectly the thank you, which is awesome. And then I'm going to stamp You're Amazing right up here. And that is in soft suede. And I love that I can look through this and see the words. So that's really awesome. You know what? Everybody keeps asking me about lipstick. And no, lipstick was never even on my brain for my stamp set at all. Not even a little. I know that's kind of my thing, but it's not really my thing. I really actually am only into lipstick when I'm stamping with you guys. Otherwise, it's not really my deal. But anyway, okay, so I've got my stamping done. How awesome is that? So I really like the look of that. And then here is my little frame that I'm actually going to put behind it. So what I kind of like about this is I don't have to have a gargantuan frame to go all the way around my sentiment. I'm using a partial frame, so I kind of like that. All right, I'm going to set that aside for a minute. I'm going to fold my card base. So again, this is Pear Pizzazz, and then I've cut, I believe this is 3 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to adhere that to my card. It feels a little like a sacrilege to be putting glue on this pretty metallic pattern, but yet here I am doing it, so it's okay. All right, and I kind of want this not centered a little bit below center of my card. Okay, and then I noticed that this is just a little long, so I'm going to snip that off. Doesn't that bug you when that happens? Makes me crazy. Okay, so I also, in the suite, there's some ribbon. And there's a ribbon combo pack, which I love. Old olive ribbon and some terracotta tile ribbon, which is really pretty. And yes, demonstrators should be able to see it in November. That is right. I'm excited. Hopefully they'll want me to show it to you. I hope. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, I'm really excited though, because I think it's going to be an set. It is so up my alley, I'll tell you that. Which I guess it better be, right? The only thing I don't like about it is the name. It is not my choice of name. And when you see it, you'll understand. And the reason is because the name I wanted was too close to something else they had, so I couldn't have my name. And maybe what I'll do is if somebody wants me to sign their set, I think that's a little weird, but I've had a lot of people ask me about it. But if they want to, I will rename their set for them. Just saying. Just don't tell Stampin' Up! I said that. It's just between you and me. Okay. They actually, well, the lady I've been working with, who's like the chief illustrator for Stampin' Up., she knows that I don't like the name. And she was sad that she couldn't get me the right name, but it is what it is. Sometimes you can't have everything you want. Okay, so I've adhered these 2 layers together, and I just love this look. And then I'm going to pop this up. Now, one thing I think that's awesome about this is that when you set it up on dimensionals, I think it kind of helps break up the pattern paper from the design of the die. And that helps a little bit. Another thing you could do to break it up a little bit would be to put a piece of cardstock just a teeny bit bigger, like 1/8 of an inch bigger, behind this. And that might help also. But yeah, I have to giggle because somebody understood my over embellisher comment. So there's my card. Isn't that pretty? So I really liked how this one turned out. Another option is to do just a plain piece of cardstock behind the sentiment, but I really like this. So yeah, Okay, so there's our first card. Our next card is going to be featuring the new mountain. Well, I shouldn't say new because it's not that new, but it's sort of new. The Mountain Air bundle. And let me pull this out. So this is going to be my April Creativity to Go kit. And I will be posting links to that tomorrow. I was actually working on them a little bit earlier today. And or maybe I might post them tonight, but tomorrow's probably safer. So this is one of our reversibles stamp set, which is really cool. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can incorporate that into the cards in this class. So I really like that. And so we're going to make just a really nice, kind of simple card. This would be a good man card or basically whatever kind of sentiment you might need it for. But my Creativity to Go kit is a really great way to get lots of ideas for a bundle. I usually do them on bundles. And the dies on this set are really awesome. We're actually not using them on this particular card, but I have some really cool stuff that we're going to do with them this month. So I can't wait for you guys to see the projects. So is my stamp sentiment the color that lets us God know God loves us? No, that's not actually in there either, but that would be pretty funny. So I love these dies. They make really, really cool cards. So let me show you my card for this. I'm going to grab some scrap paper to protect my work surface. So I'm going to stamp a little background on here, but I also want to highlight a part of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I just spit on my card. You're welcome for that information. I'm going to set this stitched rectangle right on top of my piece of cardstock. Now you can take and put some, just a little teeny bit of snail. I'm going to put snail down, and I even touched it to my sweatpants. Oh, I got a little hair on there and everything. I just want to tack it down so that I'll be able to pull this off, when I'm ready. Okay, so I've got that right there on my card, and then I'm going to do my stamping. I'm going to start with the mountains, okay? And so they're going to go on here like this. And I'm just going to center them on my card, okay? And I'll do that in Smoky Slate ink. Okay. So I've got that on here like so. Boom. Okay. And I'm going to hold on to this because I'm going to stamp it again in a minute here, but I'm just going to line this up because it did not stamp that end. There we go. Got it. Whew. Okay. Now, if you see this gap here, don't worry. We're going to fix that part. Okay, then I've got the trees. So I want to stamp the trees in some, we're going to use Old Olive. Okay. It's a good color for trees. You could use whatever green floats your boat though. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not going to use Old Olive. I'm kidding. Well, actually, it'll probably work. Sorry. Okay, and now I'm going to put my trees just a little below the mountains. Just a little below the mountains. And I'm making sure to give it a good press on both sides. If you use a foam mat in your stamping, you could definitely use that. I don't happen to have one handy. Sometimes a foam mat under your photopolymer stamps really helps. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then I'm also going to add some clouds, but I'll do that here in just a second. I'm going to remove this because remember we did that so I could take it away. And I'm going to bring back my mountain stamp again. This time I'm going to ink it up once more and stamp it off. And then I'm going to stamp it again up here without re-inking. So I get kind of a lighter mountain, and I should have stamped it off twice, to be honest. Oh well, because if you stamp it off twice, you get an even lighter one. So maybe we'll well, I can't really redo this. Oh well. It won't be perfect, but that's okay. It'll be good. All right, so there is my piece so far. Now I'm going to take some Seaside spray and then stamp some clouds. Okay, so there's a little cloud image in this stamp set. So I will stamp that kind of in the sky like so. Okay, and then if you want, you can even take this stamp and you want to clean it first. So let me grab my Stampin' Chamois. So I've got my images clean. You want to make sure it's not like soaping wet because sometimes that happens. But there we go. And then I flipped it over. So now the detailed image is on the back side and then my regular stamp is on the front side, okay? And I don't know why I closed this, but I did. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp off a little bit of that ink again so it's not so dark, and then I'm just gonna kind of stamp over each of my clouds like that. Isn't that cool? Okay. All right, so let's see what's going on here. Susan. The screen melts. Ooh, my, I don't know what that means. Yikes. Did I get a new router? All of a sudden, all the colors in the video slid down the screen. Whoa! I did get a new router, and actually my phone has its own network, so I don't know. That is really crazy. It's the screen melt and frozen like last time? Oh my goodness. I don't know what that means. Yikes. That sounds really weird. Okay. Oh no, frozen. You've got to be kidding me. It's working now. Did the same. Oh, it melted. Oh my gosh, you guys. I am so watching the replay to see what that means. Yikes. Okay, so here is my card so far. Now I cut a layer just a little bigger than my stitched square. This is, by the way, the second to largest stitched square. Everybody says it's back. Okay, good. Whew. That is crazy. I can't imagine melting your screen. I mean, melting your mind maybe, but your screen, yikes. All right, so I've got my mountains on here, and now when you layer it on that piece of cardstock, then you get rid of, it covers up any of the gaps that you might have. So I really like that. And I will pop this up onto my card with a couple of dimensionals. I only have one sheet of dimensionals out so far, so I really gotta get that number up. I have like 5 or 6 things of dimensionals in my little holder here on my desk, and I usually pull all of them out when I'm done with the card making session, which kind of cracks me up. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of position this back on here, and this is a technique called spotlighting, by the way, if you've never seen this before. Okay, so I'm going to adhere this to a layer of Seaside spray, and then adhere it to my card. And we are going to have, we're going to have a sentiment added to this yet. So one of the sets I really, really like is a set called Itty Bitty Greetings. And the reason I like it is because there's a little bit of everything in here. There's all kinds of good sentiments, lots of different things that you can put in here, but I'm gonna do I Miss You, which I think is incredibly timely right now. In fact, I don't know if I've ever actually used I Miss You from the stamp set. No, I have. But it's such a perfect card or sentiment to put on a card, and this is such a perfect time to use such a sentiment. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp I Miss You in I'm going to actually stamp it in some Night of Navy ink just to change it up a little. So it's a nice bold sentiment. And then I have these little strips of cardstock. This is about 1/4 of an inch and it's left over from trimming my cardstock. So I'm just going to stamp it on here like that. And oh, it's even straight. I love that. Okay, and then I'm just going to put it on here. And one of the things I like about this is that you can certainly use any sentiment. I think this is a really wonderful masculine card, but it really works for just about any occasion. Now I can also take this and I'm just gonna punch my end into a flag. And to do that, I'm gonna use my, this is my tailored tag. It's just a little easier to use than my triple banner on this teeny tiny piece because I cut it too soon. I should have done the flag end first, but I just used this punch for that. Okay, but your triple banner punch works really well when you don't punch your piece or cut your piece down too soon. Okay, now for this, I'm going to adhere this, but I do want to add a little linen thread to embellish this. And this was something I should have put on first too, but I think we'll be able to slide it underneath and it'll work. And I'm laughing because Whitney is here and she's trying to die cut just so quietly. She can just go for it. She's trying to be so quiet. It's okay. Oh, man. Oh, there it is. I knew I'd get it. Okay. So I'm just going to tie a little knot at the bottom of this. And I need to trim this down. Oh my goodness. My knot tying skills are not so good. So, all right. We'll tie this on and there we go. Then we'll add our sentiment right over the top. And I'll just snip that so it's a little bit smaller. And then, like I said, we'll just put that right over the top. Isn't that kind of nice? Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is use a piece of the edge. And that's what I'm going to use to pop up my sentiment. Because it's nice and built-in skinny. We have foam adhesive strips, which I love, but they're a little bit thicker than I want for this card. So there we go. I miss you. So isn't that a nice sentiment? Oh my gosh. Hilda, you now talk and answer yourself. I love that. That's really funny. Oh, Joy, you've been sewing masks like crazy. Oh my gosh. I wish that was something I could figure out how to do. I can't. No fun. Sheltering in place is no fun. But we will get through this. It'll be okay. I just know it. I know it will. Okay, so there we go. Isn't that awesome? I really like this card because it's really simple, but pretty easy to do, which always, of course, makes me happy. Easy cards are the best cards. I didn't use my bone folder on here, so I'm just going to give it a really good crease because I like that, then it lays better. So there you go. Okay, next up, oh, actually, there's one more thing we could do to this to make it kind of super awesome, and that is I'm going to take my smoky slate marker and I'm going to spritz it. I think everything should be spritzed. Well, no, that's not true. A lot of things should be spritzed. So I'm going to spritz and I'm just going to put the marker in my cap and flick. So listen to that. Did you hear that kind of snap? And then when you do that, you get all those little spritzy marks on there. I think that just looks a little bit more awesome. So there you go. Karen, look, it's like Utah, only your mountains aren't gray so much. They're more like red. Well, some of them are kind of this gray color, depending on where you are, but welcome. Anyway. Okay, next up, ooh, this is a good one. Now, this is the one I finished cutting back for, but I think will easily. This is a card that my very dear friend Kelly shared with me. And so I'm going to kind of do my own take on it. And I really, really like this one because the paper is just so pretty. But having said that, I need to figure out what I did with the paper. So I'm going to use one of my favorite packs of paper, and that is this Best Dressed DSP. And I actually really like the floral patterns. The girly patterns with the shoes and the perfume and the makeup are nice, but I really like the girly patterns. By the way, I totally forgot to say, this is my Creativity to Go kit for April. I'll put links when I'm done with this video in here, and you will get amazing card ideas and tutorials with that. Okay, so I've picked 3 patterns that kind of coordinate together. There's lots of choices for this in the paper. Sorry, I'm working. Spritzing doesn't really work for me. You have to practice. Okay, here's what I see most people do when they first learn to spritz. And I'm going to show you on my aqua painter. They go, deet, 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 deet. That is not how you spritz. You got to put it in the cap and do one hard flick. Okay, one strong flick. Okay, not deet, 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 deet. Do you see the difference? Do you like the noises I'm making to illustrate my point? So that is typically what I see people do wrong. The other thing is they don't realize where the spritz is going. So they might hold, like if they want the spritz up here, they might hold their marker up here. And what's happening is the spritz is going beyond that. If you want the spritz to be up here, start down here, and then it will spritz out that way. That's another thing. And to figure that out, just take a scrap piece of paper and then try it on here, and then you'll see where it's going. So that hopefully will help you. Okay, I do actually have a video specifically on spritzing, so yes, you have to flick hard. That is true. And I'm laughing because my assistant, she writes down all of the inappropriate words I say in my lives sometimes. You know, that's what she says, and that probably was one of them. They're pretty funny when you think about it. Okay, so I'm going to cut a piece to be 4 by 5 1/4. And this is a 6-inch piece, so I'm just going to cut it at the 3/4 line, and then it'll be 4 by 5 1/4. And then I also am going to need 2 more pieces of printed paper. Let's see, I need a 2 by 3 1/2. Okay, so I'll do 2 inches by 3 1/2. And then another 2 inches by 3 1/2. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm gonna need a 1/2 sheet of cardstock. So I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. And then I need another piece of cardstock. And for this, I think I'm going to use Purple Posy. And that piece needs to be 6 1/2 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Now, can I just tell you, I figured out something that is sort of rocking my world. This weekend, I figured this out. When you use your paper trimmer, do you ever hate the edge that you cut on that is kind of rough? And here, let me grab a scrap and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, look, it's the color that lets us know God loves us. Okay, so if you just cut this edge, often you get kind of that little ridge right there. Do you see that? And that bugs me a lot. I'm only anal about a few things. That is one of them. So I discovered if you're cutting your paper, and let me see, the measurement on this was 3 3/4 by 6.5. So let me go to 3 3/4. I'm going to push both of my blades together. Do you see this? Like so. And what happens is that scoring blade pushes that ridge down, and then it doesn't stick up on the top. And then the other is 6.5. Okay, and then we'll cut that. So I'm just using the two of them together. Now this is, I haven't tried it on the old trimmer, but it's definitely on the new trimmer. So yeah, I do like to think I'm a genius. Thank you, Kyla. Yeah, okay, maybe not. It was a happy accident, to be honest. What was the size for the purple posy? This is 3 3/4 by 6.5. And then these two pieces were 2 by 3.25, I believe. Yeah, 2 by 3.5. 2 by 3.5 and 3 3/4 by 6.5. Okay, now I'm going to score this piece at 2 1/4. So score, not cut. By the way, I've been doing that a bit lately. Okay, 2 1/4 and 4 3/8. So 4 1/4 plus the next eighth, 4 3/8. Okay, so that is kind of putting them in about thirds, but not quite. Okay, all right. Yeah, that trimmer, that's why I don't use my trimmer for more than scoring for the most part, but yeah. And it's also why I like the guillotine trimmers much better, but I was pretty excited about it. Okay, all right, so I've got my pieces. So I'm going to fold my card, and you could score this. I'm just going to fold it, and then I'm going to fold back the layer. So technically this is scored at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. But I personally prefer to just do my own folding because that's pretty easy, you know. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere my piece of printed paper to the inside. Excuse me. I feel like I got a frog in my throat. I gotta take a drink of my Diet Coke, the nectar of the gods. Okay, so there we go. That's on the inside. Someone missed the tip. Don't worry. I'll share my tip again. Give me just a minute. Okay, so now I've got my pieces of printed paper, and I think I'm going to put this one on the front and this one on the inside. And they just fit right in here like so. Okay. And one of the things is I really want that biggest piece to kind of be the highlight. You know what I mean? There we go. And actually, I'm pretty sure that I was supposed to glue them to a different piece. So hold on. No, this isn't going to come off. Come on. Oh, I got it. Okay. So let's see if I can still make this work. I think I can't. We'll see. I know someone once said if you put like, ooh, let me try this. If they put dental floss in here, you can get it up. Oh, this might be working. Here's your next tip of the day. If you glued a piece of paper down and you didn't mean to, you can pry it off. It is taking a bit of force. But but you can pry it off with dental floss, or you can sacrifice a little linen thread. You want something strong. I'm not sure if white baker's twine would be up to it. That's why dental floss might work. It did shred my printed paper on the back side a little, but I'll still be able to use it, which is awesome. Okay, now we're gonna cut this piece again because I think I messed up a little bit. And so now I can share the tip again. So if you were getting a snack and missed it, here we go. Okay, I need to cut my piece of paper to 3 3/4. And sometimes when you use your trimmer, you get that little edge, which is really annoying. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use both my cutting blade and scoring blade together at the same time. That way I don't get that ridge sticking up on the edge of my cardstock, which I love. I hate the ridge. Okay, now I need this length to be 6 1/2. So I just have to open my arm up here and score at 6 1/2, or cut at 6 1/2, pardon me. Okay, then what I need to do is score this at 2 1/4 and 4 3/8. So 2 1/4. This time we're only scoring, and 4 3/8. Okay. All right, so I'm going to score on the score lines. And here's where I went wrong, is this piece is just a little bigger, and I think we want that to be on the front so that it doesn't stick out. You know what I mean? Okay. So then I'm going to adhere the layer. This one I was able to pull off, so that worked out just fine. I'll put that right there. And then my other layer that I expertly pried off with a little help from my linen thread will go right here. Okay, and then this piece will be blank. Okay, so there we go. I know some of you are saying that the comments don't necessarily match the video, and I'm not 100% sure why that is. I think that's a YouTube thing. So sorry about that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this to my card. So I want to hold this in place, and I'm only going to put adhesive. This is really important. On the front half. Okay, if you do this wrong, your card will not open. You don't want that. Okay, so there we go. It's adhered like that. And this is, by the way, a Z fold, a double Z fold, actually. All right, now I'm going to keep my card closed. Actually, I'm going to flip my card over. And then this whole piece can be adhered to this piece. Okay, and because my card is all nice and flat, then I can adhere that. And then it will open correctly. Voila. Oh, so awesome. I think you get the idea. Okay, so I also would like to put some stuff to kind of dress this up a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of my braided linen trim, possibly, or not, because I can't find it. We'll use the next best thing, which is, this is, oh, actually, this is perfect. We're going to use, this is some from the Good Morning Magnolia combo. Okay, and I'm going to just tie a little knot on here, like so. Okay. And then we'll trim that end so it's even. Okay, so that looks good. Whoa. Uh-oh, I've got a troll. Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Remove. Okay. So there we go. Now, we're going to dress this up a little further using the So Sentimental bundle. And for this, oh, there's my husband.
There's the other troll.
Yeah, right. So we're going to use my bundle, and I'm going to die cut this piece. Thank you, Wendy. Oh my gosh, is he back again? Seriously. Oh, we're just going to get rid of that too. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is take and die cut this piece out. And I want to use, I think I'm going to use, oh, I can't decide. I think I'm going to use, maybe I'll use the, see, this is why you got to finish cutting your paper before you go live, so that you have all this figured out. Oh, I know what I'm going to use. This piece, because you don't see this piece on the front. You'll see it again inside, so that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to die cut this piece, and then I also am going to die cut a label smaller from white, the next size down in the labels, which is this piece. Okay, so let me quick die cut that on my Big Shot. Just give me 1 second, no trolling. I would have to say that that little troll is like in the wrong place. Like, doesn't he know it's got to be about 98% women in here? I'm just saying. Unless my boyfriend's watching, but I haven't seen them pop up. I do have a boyfriend. My husband knows about him, so it's okay. And my boyfriend's wife knows about it, so also okay. Just kidding, sort of. He's he's the husband of one of my team members, and he has declared himself to be my stamping boyfriend, so I think that's pretty sweet. He's, well, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. All right, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment right on here. I can't thank you enough. So pretty. And then I'm going to layer it with the next sized label, which is also so pretty. We'll pop this layer up. Oops. And, oh, here's like my 4th sheet of dimensionals out. I'm only on my 3rd card, though. So I don't know. Okay, and then we'll adhere that to our card. And I still have 2 more cards to go, but the cardstock's cut for those, so it's all good. All right. And then I'm just going to adhere that to my card. I just want to make sure that it's over far enough, so, or over far enough that way, so that my, like, I don't want it way out here, because then my envelope won't work. You know what I mean? Okay, so here again, we want to only put glue on the side that we can glue, if you know what I mean. We want to make sure our card opens, so we don't want to put glue over here. I probably could have put a little more on there, but there's our card. Isn't that beautiful? So easy, so easy, but really pretty. All right, so there's that card. Our next card is a card that features the set Positive Thoughts. another timely card to be making, I think. This is a really awesome set that is found in the Occasions catalog, and you can get a free class for this stamp set, which is so awesome. If you want to get that set, you just need to join my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows Facebook group, and that is a group that I created. Actually, it's only like 2 weeks old now. And it is for sending cards. There's a rack list you can join, which is a random act of kindness. And that means you just send and receive cards from one another. There's also weekly nominations posted. And tomorrow we're going to post some more nominees to send cards to brighten people's days. I've been getting lots of nominations. And so each week I will post nominations on the group. And then the other thing that the group does is inspire you. So you can join the group and be inspired with a free monthly class. The really awesome part is that that class is just designed to inspire you. And if you would like, you can order a cardstock packet to make the projects, or you can create them on your own. But either way, you can get the free PDF. It's found in the group, or if you'd like me to email it to you, you can just register for the class. So it's a really awesome group, and I think we're going to be doing some very amazing things in that group. So I hope you'll be a part of it. I know lots of people have been in the group that are on here, and I've been getting just incredible feedback. So that's so awesome. So thank you guys so much for being a part of it. So I have an extra card to share with you. This one didn't make it into the class. And the reason is because of the dies I'm using. And if you didn't have the dies, the card wouldn't really work. So you'll see what I mean by that. I'm using the nested stitched labels on this in conjunction with the card. So, I guess I do need my stamps out of here. There was a set of dies you could get last month. It was our coordination product release. I do have one more set. Just saying. Shh, you did not hear that from me. Okay, but you can also order your stamp set to go with the class too. Okay, so one of my favorite sentiments in here is sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes. Again, so perfect for right now. And of course, this was not by accident that I chose this stamp set, although it's kind of serendipitous because I had actually planned to use this stamp set for this group before all of this mess happened in the world. This was planned before that. It just sort of happened that it worked out really, really well. Okay, this is another really awesome color combination that I sort of kind of accidentally came by. I'm going to use Pool Party. Oh, sorry, my iPad's about to tip over. I'm going to use Pool Party with soft suede and mossy meadow. So a really kind of different color of combination. And then I'm stamping it on Very Vanilla. Very Vanilla is one of those card colors or ink stamp colors that we just don't use enough. And I'm also looking at my card. Remember that mountain card I made? I had to fix something. When my stamps moved, I saw the little bird stamp. I never used that on the card. So we got to add the birds. Oh, not good. I don't see my smoky. Oh, here it is. It's like, seriously, I'm going crazy. Yeah, the group is for anybody, whether you're international or local or whatever. Anybody can join. So yeah, we would love to have you. So there, that card's way better with the birds. I'm just saying. You can't often say that. Okay. All right, so back to my piece of Very Vanilla. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And by the way, I'll flash all those cards again later at the end so you can see them. Okay, so I've got my little leafy branch thing, and then my flower, and then my sentiment. So I'm going to start with my sentiment in some soft suede ink. by the way. If you get whiplash stamping with me, I know. Just hang on for the ride. It'll be worth it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment right in the smack dab middle of my panel here. And then I'm going to also add some of the flowers and the leaves on my card. And I'm basically going to start with, I think I'll start with the leaves. And I want to make sure I've got my Massey Meadow. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that right there, full strength. And then I'm going to stamp it off again right there, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it up here, full strength. And then without re-inking, I'll stamp it again. And do you see how you get that lighter shade? So pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, next I'm going to start filling in with my pool party. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to start though stamping off this first layer because I just don't want it to be too dark. Okay, so there we go. Now stop for a moment. When you stamp over ink, if it is not completely dry, you can pick up the ink in your stamp. And I don't know if I did or not because I blabbed long enough. It probably is dry and it looks okay, but I do see just a little hint of that color right there. I don't know if you can see that on my screen. So what I'm going to do is you could either clean this off or I really stamped the rest of the ink off. I think my pool party ink pad needs to be re-inked, so we're probably okay. But I just wanted to make sure I didn't pick up that ink and then spread it around my card because it's like a virus. Okay, so now I've got a full strength one back here, and then I'll do a stamped off one over here. And then I'm going to continue and I'll do a full strength one here. I'm kind of being careful not to touch my sentiment. That way I don't have to worry about the ink transfer. Stamped off there. Now, the other thing that can happen is when you stamp off, you can get a little line. Do you guys see that? It's pretty faint, but I don't want that line to show up on here either. So what I'll do is I'll ink it up, stamp it off, and then I have a fresh no line stamp off. And then I just want to be aware of that. So if I stamp it off again, I'm not getting that line on there. Now these are all just really specific details, but they make your card look nice at the end of the day, you know? Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is take, and I'm going to die cut this with one of my labels, okay? And I want to make sure I've got it on there and it doesn't move. So I'm going to take a Post-it note with some dimensions we don't need. And I'm going to just lay it across there, okay? So I'm going to die cut this really quick. Okay, then pull that off. There we go. Then I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to do one more die cut. I'm just going to close these before something bad happens because I know you guys would be mad at me if it did. Okay. So when you look at my dies, this is the die I used. So the very biggest one, it's one down from that. But then these don't stack, you know, you can't put all of them together. So this is in between the biggest and the one I just did. Now what I'm going to do is actually die cut this piece out of this. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of center it top to bottom, left to right. And again, I'm going to put my Post-it on here to hold it in place so it doesn't move on me, although I just moved it. Don't tell anybody. Okay, I'm going to run it through one more time. Okay, now what I did is I created a little frame. Okay, and so there we go. Now I haven't used this for anything yet, this little frame right here, but I'm thinking we could do something cool with it at some point. But I'm going to actually set that aside, and then I want these two pieces. Now, I also die cut this larger piece. I also die cut that from a layer of Mossy Meadow. So what I can do is put these two layers together, and then it fits like a puzzle. Okay, so that fits right inside there, and then we'll pop this layer up. Okay, so I will take yet another sheet of dimensionals. Oh, look, this one's, I gotta keep this one out. Keep working on this one. So I'm gonna pop this layer up, centered on my Mossy Meadow piece. And again, this is just to create kind of a puzzle situation, just because it's kind of cool. Okay, so that looks pretty. Now I also took, now if you have the set of dies that were with this set, there was a little butterfly in there. If you don't have that set of dies, you can get this butterfly, which is from the Beauty Abounds stamp set, or I should say bundle. It was a bundle last year. And hold on, I have the set someplace. Oh, maybe. I thought I did. Anyway, this butterfly, there's actually several butterflies, so this is in there. Okay. So I'm going to take and attach this with a glue dot just as soon as I find my glue dots. Here we go. I mean, there's like a billion of them in my office, but can I find one when I need them? That's the trick. Okay, so I've got that on there. Now I'm going to scrunch my glue dot up a little bit because it's it's a little bigger than my butterfly, but that's okay. It'll still do the job. And then I'm going to kind of make my wings stick up a little because that's just pretty. There we go. Look at that. Like it's flying. Aw. Okay. Now, the piece that I die cut that from is a 4x5 1/4 inch piece of Mossy Meadow. And so I will adhere this to this. You could die cut the two layers together, but I find well, it's not necessary, but also it's easier to do without trying to center everything and worrying about stuff moving and all that stuff. Okay, so I want to center this layer onto my card base. Don't care if the frames line up. I just want the edges to line up. So that looks good. And then this piece will go right in the middle like that, like a puzzle. Okay, and we're going to layer all of that onto a thick Whisper White card base. This is actually very vanilla, not Whisper White. That just rolls off the tongue because I do a lot of cards with thick Whisper White. But I really like the vanilla with these two colors. I think it's a cool combination of colors. Okay, but wait, there's more. Of course, there's a couple little teeny touches we're going to do to this before we're done. All right, so like I said, we'll stick that one in. You could even pop it up a layer if you wanted, but I don't want to push my luck as far as thickness is concerned and the happiness of the post office getting involved because they can be kind of picky. I will, however, put a pearl in here. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm just going to pull a pearl off and stick that right in the center of my butterfly. So cute. Okay. And then, what do you think's next, guys? If you guessed spritzing, you would be right. Oh, so cool. Okay, so I've got my, this is soft suede marker, and I'm going to spritz. Once again, here we go. Listen for the snap. Oh, there we go. Ooh, two. Two might have been too much. Spritzing often, you need to end one time before you think you're done. Okay, and then I'm going to also spritz with my clear Winkastella. To do that, I'm going to smack it against something. In this case, I have a boulder. Bone folder, not boulder. Okay. So, good way to get your aggression out. And when you look at it, hopefully you can see some of the sparkle. But isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty, pretty. Yeah. So the butterfly is from the Beauty Abounds bundle, the dies that coordinate with that. And here we go, this set. So the dies are, there's actually a bunch of dies. All those pieces are in one set of dies. So great bundle. But originally, if you got the dies that coordinate with the stamp set last month or in February or March, there is a little butterfly that will match in there. So there you go. Yeah, so if you want more inspiration with this stamp set, make sure you come over to my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows Facebook group. And over there, I have a free online class with this stamp set. So it's really awesome. I've gotten rave reviews with the with that class, by the way. Of course, it probably doesn't hurt that it's free, but still, I think the projects are pretty awesome. Okay, I have one final card for you today, and that is featuring the High Tide stamp set. This is, I almost would say, a blast from the past. It's been around a little while, but we're going to make a really pretty card that, again, is so perfect for the times we're in. And I think a lot of the sentiments in here are really, really good. Let hope be your lighthouse, beckoning you through stormy seas. I mean, hello, that's perfect. We're going to use in high tide or low tide, I'll be by your side. But again, all of the sentiments in here are so perfect for life right now. And I have to laugh. I've lamps lately. I mean, not permanently, but like during my live, they like get stuck. So I took out the stamps I needed and then put them on here. I don't mount them to my blocks immediately. And the only reason for that is just space. I use up so much space, these different projects for you, that it helps to not mount them before the class starts. Because see, there's like my workspace. You can't see. There's stamps all the way around my little spot here. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but by the time I'm done with the stamping session, I need to clear off my desk because the only space that I have left is about the size of my card. That's just sort of par for the course with me. Okay, so this is going to be a really pretty card with this High Tide stamp set. I love the set. I want to say I had an online class for this back in the day. I probably still do. Okay, so, and yeah, oh yes, thank you, Catherine, for pointing that out. The Lighthouse die from the Sail Away suite does match this one. That is true. So I'm going to start with a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of Whisper White this time. And I'm going to stamp water in Pool Party. I got to dig out my Pool Party ink pad here. Actually, I scratched that. I'm going to start by stamping some sand in crumb cake. Okay, now this sand comes with this divot for a lighthouse, but we're not actually going to use the lighthouse on this particular card. So I kind of want to stamp that off the edge a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to stamp it again, like so, okay? Stamped off. So I don't want that little ledge to be a highlight, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there we go. Happening here. Sand dune, maybe. And then the water stamp, I'm going to stamp in some Pool Party ink. Just off to the side here. And you can kind of put it on depending on, your edge. You can put it on like that. I'm actually going to stamp it a couple times. So I stamped it full strength. And I'm just going to stamp it off a little bit like so, just to kind of fill in the color. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush. This is a makeup brush from Amazon. And first of all, I'm going to test the color of this because I want to say I used kind of a dark color last time with this. But I'm going to sponge a little bit of color on here. Oh, but actually I want to do something first. Okay, now the stamp set comes with a little circle. Okay, like the center of a sun, but that's too small. So instead, I'm going to take my, oh no, I don't want that. My 1-inch circle punch. That's a little better. You can see that's much larger than the other circle. And I'm going to punch this with a scrap. And then I'm going to use it as a mask. Hold on, I got to grab a piece of vellum. Okay. Now, I like to use vellum for a mask because this is, actually, that is just not big enough. I want it to be a little bigger, but I feel like 1.5 inches is too big. But you know what? Maybe we're going to go with it. Yeah, well, we can make that work. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm using this as a mask. I like vellum because it's not porous, especially if you do more than one. You can see my piece is not very big though, so I'm going to grab a couple of Post-its just to make sure I don't go off the edge with my vellum piece, and you'll see why in a second. And so I'm going to make a sun out of this. All right. And by the way, if you want a little different, you could go with one of the layering circle dies that's in between those two sizes. And that would work well. Okay, now I'm going to take another brush. This one I have designated for yellows, and I'm going to do So Saffron. Okay. And I'll sponge off that first bit of color, and then I'll put the rest on here like so. Okay, and then wait for it. Dun, 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 dun. So awesome. Okay, so there's our. Now, likewise, what you can do is take, I gotta punch another one though, because I punched this funny. But now you can take this and it can be the mask on top of the sun so that we don't get color on it here in a minute. So for that, I will use my, if I can find it, here we go, my snail adhesive. And once again, I'm gonna use my snail because this is never sticky when you want it to be sticky. But when you want it to not be too sticky, that's when, of course, it sticks like there's no tomorrow. So I'm actually touching it to the, can you see that, to my pants, which I do have comfy knit pants on. Okay, so then I can put it on here and then it will stick but not stay stuck. All right, so back to my pool party is I'm going to lightly add some color to the sky. Now I'm being really light about this because I don't want it to match the water. I just want a little bit of light color. Okay, and if you got it a little darker than you wanted, then you could come down here and darken up the water because you've already stamped on it, so it's going to be a little darker anyway. Okay, now I'll remove my Post-it, and now I don't have a green sun because the yellow and the blue did not mix. So happy dance. Nobody likes a green sun. I think that is a sign of bad things. Okay, now let's dress this up a little bit. First of all, I'm going to take some black ink. Actually, well, yeah, black ink. And I'm going to stamp my birds. So I've got 2 birds. I've got some like sandpiper type birds, which I believe is what these are. I'm going to stamp them kind of right here on the shore. Okay, and then I also have some flying birds, like seagulls maybe, I don't know, generic flying birds. And then they're going to be flying, of course, through the sun or with the sun in the background. All right, then I want to add just a little bit more to this. So I'm going to take and put some grass in here because there's always grass by the ocean, right? Well, in my scene there is. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of stamp some of this grass on my little sand dune to just sort of round things out a little bit like that. Isn't that a pretty little scene? Okay, the last thing I'm going to stamp is going to be an early espresso, and that's going to be our sentiment. And again, so perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to take and stamp that right over here. All right. So pretty. All right, now let's put this together on our card. I've got a layer of 4 1/4 by 5, or 4 by 5 1/4 of early espresso to adhere this to. And then I want to take, this is from the garden, the Ornate Garden ribbon combo. We'll just tie that on. You could, the other thing you could use is like braided linen trim, or even just plain old linen thread would be nice on here, but I wanted a little pop of that green, especially because it's over on off to this side. And we'll just trim these ends up to be all nice and pretty. Like so. And then I'm just going to pop this up onto a crumb cake card base. So pretty. So you have to tell me which of the cards are your favorite. I'm going to flash all of them again here in just a second. So let me know which ones you like best. And then as soon as I get off of the video, I'll put the links in for the different things that I have going on. And then I've got a few announcements for you too. Okay, so there we go. Oh, so pretty. All right, let me close that up. Again, I don't want there to be an ink incident. All right. I know, right? Whitney's like dying. Okay, so we made this card with the High Tide stamp set. We made this card with the Positive Thoughts stamp set. Also, shameless plug, join my Sending Sunshine and Rainbows, and you can not only brighten someone's day, but you can also get a free class with the stamp set. We did the Mountain Air card. And this will be my Creativity to Go kit this month, features this bundle. Then we did a fun fold with the Best Dressed DSP, and then I also used the So Sentimental bundle on this too. Okay, and then finally we did this card featuring the Ornate Thanks, or the Ornate Garden suite, whatever, you know what that whole suite is called. And by the way, I didn't do this. I meant to put these gilded rhinestones on here. So I didn't do that in the actual demonstration of this card, but that was intended. Anyway, so that's my other card. So several reminders for you. First of all, hey, will you grab the April Post-it on my computer? First of all, please share. Sharing is caring. Share this video. You can do it on Facebook. That's actually the best place to share. And when you do, you'll be entered into a drawing for prizes. Okay, so I'll announce winners next Monday during my live, so make sure you do that. Second of all, I need your help. Please order from my online store. And when you use, or when you order, please use the host code Y9S2RF T6, and I do send gifts for your purchases. When you spend $50 or more, you'll get a free PDF from me, and when you spend $100 or more, you'll get the PDF plus a gift, like a embellishment. Okay. Embellishment. So I can't wait to look and see what all were your favorites on here, because I know they've been scrolling past. I know I did make some pretty good cards today, huh? I like to think sometimes I'm a pretty good stamper. You never know. But I think I'm pretty good. Okay. Also, I have 3 online class opportunities for you. So they include, first of all, the Ornate Garden. And that is coming out next week. Now that is $25 for the online only, $40 with the pre-cut cardstock, or free when you order the suite from me. And I'll send you the $40 class. So that's pretty awesome. My second one is the Mountain Air Creativity to Go kit. And that actually I'm going to post the registration for probably either tonight or tomorrow. And that comes out later this month. And then I also have my April Facebook class. And Facebook classes are kind of the awesomest. And I know my grammar's awesome too. But Facebook class there's 3 per month. And in those classes, I give you 3 different layouts, lots and tips and tricks on how to stamp faster, improve your skills, organize your card making to make the process work better. And then each includes 3 different layouts and 3 different color combinations. And so we kind of go through all of those different things to help improve your stamping skills and make stamping faster and easier when you sit down to make your cards. So lots of great tips are shared each time. And then I also have card contests with prizes like bundles. So I give away lots of great stuff in that class. You can get involved. It's $25 for 1 month or $15 when you subscribe for a year. And I get incredible reviews for my online or my Facebook class. It is the best deal that I offer too. So it's great to do. So I will get these on my blog tomorrow. If you are watching the replay, I'll put the link in here for you. If you are watching the replay though, you can still share that video. That really helps me. And I will be back here next Monday after Easter. And thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great day. We'll see you again a little later this week with more videos. Bye.